Sup you guys, AS Declassified here. So it's a rainy day. Don't know if you guys can hear the rain, but since it's raining, I decided to go ahead and make a video about Ninja Steel. You know, perfectly dreary topic for a dreary day. Alright, so Ninja Steel. It's bad, y'all. It's real bad. I'm sorry. Like, I hate this season. It just sucks. We're only 8 episodes in, mind you, and I'm already I wash my hands of the situation. Only been 8 episodes in the States. Have to clarify that, you know, I think Spain and a few other countries have gotten more episodes of Ninja Steel than we have in the States. But yes, I just need to see 8 to know that this season it's just not gonna be shit. Okay, it's already bad and it's not gonna get much better. And this video is just me explaining why I hate this season. Why I think the way that I think, okay? So yeah, the most obvious reason for why this season gets on my damn nerves is because we have a season of Rangers who are ninjas in name only. Like, they do no ninja techniques. Like, who thought of this? Who thought it would be a good idea to have ninjas who do not do anything that ninjas are known for doing in media? Who thought of this? Like, seriously, it's like, okay, I don't expect the Rangers to go around assassinating people. Okay, obviously, kid show. But still, you don't do anything that ninjas are known for doing, even in kid shows, okay? Like, I've already been through it in another video. Like, they don't do any shadow clone jutsu, no substitution jutsu, teleportation, you know, no walking on water, no walking on walls or anything like that. Pretty much anything that Ninja Storm did, they do not do in Ninja Steel. It is irksome because ninjas are cool. The concept of ninjas and all the various ninja techniques they do, that is cool. And you do not show any of that coolness in a season about ninjas. I don't understand, man. I don't get it. I don't know what the problem is, okay? Because the Ninja didn't have this problem. You know, that Japanese series that Ninja Steel is adapted from, the Ninja didn't have this problem. The Warriors and the Ninja, they were ninjas. They did all the techniques I listed and then some. So I don't understand what Ninja Steel problem is, okay? Ninja Steel wants us to believe that because the Rangers have the Ninja Power Stars and the Ninja Power Stars give them the ability to shoot fire and lightning and water around, that's what makes them ninjas. But this is Power Rangers. This is Power Rangers though. In the 20-something years that this show has been on, do you know how many Power Rangers have had the ability to shoot fire and water and lightning around? Damn near all of them. So, if we go by what Ninja Steel is telling us, all of the Power Rangers are ninjas because they were able to shoot fire and lightning and etc. too. So I don't understand this. I don't understand this. It's just so fucking dumb. How have we had 8 episodes and there has not been one ninja technique? Oh, I'm sorry. There was one ninja technique. I'm so sorry. There was one. I think Brody used the substitution jutsu, but they called it something else. I think it was like the scarecrow technique or something, which is fine. I don't care that you changed the name of it. You know, that's creative. Fine, whatever. I just want you to use the classic ninja techniques. But, you know, you only did it one time. One scene in one episode, and there have been 8. But whatever, you know, I've already talked about that before. Let's talk about other problems in this season. Other problems by the name of Brody. Okay. So, Brody, which is such a dude bro name, man. Brody. Okay. Brody makes me sick. He makes me sick, man. I can't stand him. And it has nothing to do with the actor. It really doesn't. The actor is fine. It has everything to do with the writing, okay? The writing is the problem. How they're writing Brody is the problem. So, the writers, For some reason, the writers decided to give Brody this very dark and tragic backstory when you think about it. They didn't have to do this. They did not have to do this, but they decided to give Brody this tragic backstory anyway, right? You know, Brody, you know, he was 8 years old. Evil aliens showed up at his house. Said aliens killed his father right in front of him. Then these aliens kidnapped Brody. And they made Brody a prisoner slash slave for 10 years. 10 years Brody was made a prisoner and kept away from his big brother Aiden. You know, the only other living relative Brody has as far as the audience knows. So yeah, 10 years of being treated as a slave and whatever. Then Brody finally escapes, right? He goes to Earth, he meets other teenagers, and they all become Power Rangers. Woo woo, right? Okay, so after 10 years, you know, Brody finally gets his freedom, he becomes a Power Ranger, he gains the power to fight off his oppressors, right? So, after all of that, Brody is just fine. Brody is happy-go-lucky. You know, Brody, he's a high school student now, right? Brody goes to high school. He goes to the high school dances. He drives. He's getting his driver's license. He ain't worried about nothing. He having the time of his life now. Aiden, my brother's missing, man. Fuck that. I gotta pass this math quiz. Brody is not worried about nothing now. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. It is so bad. Like, Brody acts like he has not been through what he's been through. He acts like he didn't go through what the writers told us he went through. Brody saw his father murdered in front of him, kidnapped, prisoner of 10 years, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't act like somebody who's been kidnapped and was a slave for 10 years. He does not. He does not act like he even has a brother that's out there somewhere. Because Brody has not thought about his brother Aiden since episode 2. He has not. Brody has not thought about his brother. Brody has not been looking for his brother since episode 2. Episode 2 had Brody go back to his childhood home. And Brody was so distraught that Aiden wasn't at his house. Why would he be at that house? But anyway, Brody was so distraught that Aiden wasn't there, that he started to have like a breakdown. He was crying or whatever, and Sarah had to sit down and get them together. Pretty much like Sarah had to give Brody a pep talk, like, you know, it's gonna be okay and blah 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 blah. And then after that, Brody was okay. That's all it took. Brody just needed a pretty girl to tell him that everything was gonna be okay. And then after that, well, well, fuck that. I'm just gonna live my life. If Aiden out there, he out there. Like, he really has not thought about his brother since episode 2. It is so sad. Like, okay, so there was one scene in episode 8, okay, or whatever the episode was where he met the Gold Ranger, whatever, okay. There was a scene where Brody and the Gold Ranger were talking, right? And they were getting burgers, and Brody was like, my brother used to eat that kind of burger. He loved it. That's the first time that Brody has talked about Aiden since episode 2. I swear, I'm like, what? I can't stand this. It's like, how is Brody not looking for his brother? How? I don't get it. The writers thought it would be far more important if Brody was in high school. I don't even understand this. Brody should not be in high school. His character, no, it should not be happening. But the writers really wanted these high school shenanigans with all 5 of the Rangers for some reason, so he's in high school. I don't even get it. Like, Brody just, I think the end of episode 2, Brody's like, well, I guess I'm going to high school now. How? Did you take a placement exam? Because we showed, the audience didn't see that. How? It's like, just because you're the age of a high school student doesn't mean that you just go to high school. You know, you have missed 10 years of public schooling. You're not just going to be in high school because you're of high school age. What the fuck? So you have to take a placement test or something like that. And then after that, what? Who enrolled you? Did you enroll yourself? Like, I don't get this. Like, and how is the school not asking you about your living situation? You don't have a parent or a guardian. How? Like, these are the questions that are coming up that I really don't even want to think about. You know, to be fair, I'm only thinking about these questions because I'm an adult. But still, okay, like, these are stupid questions that, you know, this didn't even have to be an issue if you didn't put Brody in high school. Brody did not need to be in high school, okay? The only thing Brody needs to be doing right now is looking for his brother. and training to be a ninja. That is it. He did not need to be in high school. It feels almost like executive middling. You know, it's like, I don't get why the writers would put Brody in high school unless they were forced to put him there. Like, oh, well, Brody is high school age, so he must be in high school, okay, because, you know, he has to be a good example for the children, you know, and you know, he's the Red Ranger, and the children will look to the Red Ranger the most, you know, so, you know, you gotta have a good example. We can't be, you know, it can't look like we're promoting truancy or something. Like, I don't, why is Brody in high school? Why? I swear, man, like, if you had skipped the premiere, like, if you had just started with, like, episode 3 and kept watching, would you ever have suspected that Brody was ever kidnapped and treated as a prisoner for 10 years? Would you ever have suspected that from seeing how this boy acts? It's, oh my God. Okay, if I was writing this show or whatever, here's what I would have wanted from Brody. I would want, first of all, Brody would not be in high school, obviously. No. Brody, no. Okay, he would not be in high school. Secondly, Brody would only be spending his time looking for his brother. You know, he doesn't have to find his brother immediately, but he would be spending time looking for his brother, or he would be training himself to be a ninja, and he would be training the others to be ninjas. Because really, Brody is a real ninja, right? He was taught by his father to be a ninja since pretty much from birth. You know, so Brody is the only real ninja there, right? So Brody should be training the others, because the other 4 were not ninjas. They just got roped into this Ninja Nexus Prison Madness one day. So they're not really ninjas. They need to be taught how to be ninjas, which Brody could do, but the show does not have Brody do that at all. So I would prefer Brody was doing that. You know, he was teaching him, kind of like Andros in Space, where Andros was the only Space Ranger, so he had to teach those planetary rangers how to be Space Rangers. It'll be the same thing here, right? That's what Brody should be doing. And we could have had scenes where Brody is training the Rangers, like, okay, this is how we do the, you know, the Shadow Clone Jutsu or something, or teaching them how to punch them, like, you know, you gotta punch hard like this, you gotta get in there, you got 1,000 years of pain. And here's the thing, I also don't really have an issue with Brody being super happy-go-lucky with the Rangers. I really don't have an issue with that. It's just, he also needs to show that he went through what the show tells us he went through. Like, he needs to be angry. He needs to be sad at times. Like, you know, like, I feel that, how can I explain this better? Like, I feel that it should have been written that Brody escapes, right? He comes on Earth, he meets the other Rangers, whatever, and then the show shows us how Brody is getting back to being on Earth. Like, he's been away from Earth for a long time. So the show, it tells us how he's getting, I can't think of the word right now, but he's assimilating. I don't really want to use that word, but he's assimilating back into our society. He's learning how things work. He's being around people who actually care and love him. You know, he's growing a good friendship with the other Rangers to the point where he feels that they are like siblings to him, since he doesn't have his real brother right now, but he treats the other Rangers like they're his siblings. You know, and he's just trying to move on from the terrible shit that happened to him. That could have worked. Like, he's trying to be happy-go-lucky because he doesn't want the evil to take his joy, you know. He's still trying to live life. You know, he's trying to do the best that he can. He's trying to beat evil, but then they can still show us that he's still pissed at what Galvanex did to him. Like, he can be super happy with the other Rangers, but then they can have scenes like where Brody talks with Mick, and he can just show his real feelings, like, man, Mick, I just want to just punch that motherfucker Galvanex in his fucking teeth, and I want to rip his testicles out and stomp on him, and I hate this son of a bitch, I hate him. Like, you know, you could just give us scenes like that still. I feel like you could do both, because humans are complex. You could have Brody be happy. Like, I don't really want him to be Batman. You know, he can be happy with the Rangers, but at the same time, he can still show that he's pissed and that he's sad about what happened to him in his life. You could do that. But the show doesn't. The show does not focus on any type of anger or sadness with Brody. It just makes Brody happy all the time. It's disgusting. So, yeah. And it's the exact same issue with Aiden as well. Oh, did I say Aiden? I meant Levi. It's the exact same issue with Levi. So Levi, he was given the gold power star or whatever, right? to become the Gold Ranger, and then he was kidnapped by Madame Odious. So he was kidnapped by one of the villains, and then he was tortured and almost driven insane by this villain for weeks, maybe a month. Literally what they told us in the show, that, oh, like I think Levi said that, like, oh, I think she was trying to drive me insane. I'm not making this up. It was in the show. So then the Gold Ranger, he escapes one day, and he escapes, and after that he goes back to his normal life of being a country singer. He got an album to put out, he got a world tour to go on, he's signing fan autographs and shit. He not worried about nothing. Like, I was kidnapped, man, whatever, dust that off your shoulders, we gotta move on with our life. What? This is I can't. How are you writing this? It's just like Brody. How? Levi is acting like he did not go through what the show was telling us he went through, because Levi is happy as can be, man. Even when he was telling the Rangers what happened to him, oh yeah, I was kidnapped and tortured, it was crazy. Oh well, you want to go get a burger? Like, what the fuck? Like, what is this? What is this? Besides bad writing, I don't know, man. This is just, it's awful. It's like, nobody can be sad on this show. Nobody can be sad or angry for more than like a minute. You know, they can spend their time telling their tragic backstory. Oh man, that was really rough. But thank God I got you guys. All right, let's go to the high school party now. It's just, that's what happens in Ninja Steel, and I can't stand it. I can't stand it. You give people these tragic backstories and then do nothing with them. Like, the characters, they act like they didn't even go through that shit. So what was the point? What was the point of doing this? I don't get it. It's like, why not just keep the shit simple? Why did y'all have to do the tragic backstory shit? You didn't have to do this. You know, you could have just kept it simple. Could have kept it very simple. Ninja Steel would be so much better if they would have just kept it simple. If it would have just been about 5 teenagers who are also ninjas and are friends in high school and they fight aliens. And that could have just been it. Like, you know, y'all trying to do this extra shit with the kidnappings and torture and shit. It just was not needed. Ninja Steel would be so much better if you took that shit out. It would be. Ninja Steel would work if you would have kept it simple. Like, if the writers would acknowledge the lore and mythos of Power Rangers for 5 fucking seconds, you would realize that keeping this simple would have worked, okay? The story could have been this. We got 5 teenagers, right? They're friends, they're in high school, because the writers really want to do the high school shenanigans. So they're 5 teenagers, friends in high school. And once, you know, school is done for the day, they have their extracurricular activities. And what are those activities? They go to a ninja school to train. They go to the Thunder Ninja Academy and they train. And then one day evil ninja aliens showed up on Earth, and then Cam or somebody else made new ninja morphers for the new generation to take on this evil. And that could have been it. Literally, that could have been it. We left it there. It is simple, and you acknowledge the past Power Ranger seasons and shit. That's it. That's all you had to do. And then I wouldn't be tripping that much about Brody being super happy and go lucky and whatever, because it doesn't matter. Because he didn't have any tragic backstory, you know? But whatever. It's just, my God. It's like the Power Ranger writers can't handle anything else other than simple. So why are you not just doing simple? But whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much it. There are other things that irk me in this show so far. Like, they had an episode where Galvanex, the main villain of this show, showed up giant size in the city with 7 other giant size clones, and the Rangers just treat this like it's a normal thing. The Rangers don't even call their Zords. Not one Zord. The Rangers decide to pull out their like pistols or frog guns and shoot at the giant main villain, and then are surprised when this doesn't work. And I just, oh my God, how is this? Your main villain is on Earth with 7 other giant versions of himself, and it's not treated like a big deal. It's treated like it's, oh shit, man, it's another Tuesday. Oh my God. There's also another episode with Calvin, the Yellow Ranger. So This episode, man. There's this episode where we learn that Calvin is afraid of driving and he has to overcome that fear, right? So when the episode started and it told us that Calvin is afraid, he has a fear of driving, a lot of ideas went in my head. I was like, a lot of ideas about where the fear came from. I thought that it might be like, oh, when Calvin was a kid, he was involved in like a car accident or something. So now he doesn't want to drive because he, you know, it traumatized him from that. You know, that could actually been cool. Like, he's come to the point where like I can sit in cars now. It took me a while to get there, but I can sit in them now. But I'm not driving those motherfuckers. Those little monster dragon metal demons. Oh no, can't drive them. So I thought it was gonna be something like that, and I was like, oh, that could be deep. But I should have known better. I should have fucking known better. So the reason that Calvin was afraid to drive was because when he was a kid, he had like an accident in like a go-kart or some shit. I don't know. Maybe some other kid bumped into him too hard. And ever since then, he's been traumatized. I'm like, are you serious? This is so pathetic. Like, if I was Haley, I would have dumped his ass a long time ago. Are you serious? This is the trauma. Go-karts. I can't. And that episode, I think, involved a spider monster and the spider monster's web was so strong that the Rangers couldn't blast or cut through it. And then Calvin saves the other Rangers by blasting and cutting through it. You know? It's a fucking show. So yeah, Ninja Steel is bad. But, you know, it's only 8 episodes. It could improve, right? No. No, it can't. And you know why. It's because the writers don't feel that they're doing anything wrong. You know, if they felt that there was a problem, you know, that there was room for improvement in their writing, Ninja Steel would be said improvement. They would have looked at the problems with Dino Charge and they would have improved on that from Ninja Steel, but that is not what's happening here. Ninja Steel is worse than Dino Charge. Ninja Steel is worse. You know, and Dino Charge started off good. Dino Charge didn't lose ground until Dino Supercharge. You know, once Tyler's daddy, deadbeat daddy, showed up, that is when Dino Supercharge started to go down in the quality. Ninja Steel has not been great from jump. So, you know, the premiere was not that good. It's just, I don't know, the direction they are taking the show is just not, it's not an interesting direction for me. It could have been interesting. They could have did a lot of interesting shit with Brody, with the backstory they made, but they decided not to. So, yeah, Ninja Steel is just, they don't feel that they need to improve anything. That's what it comes off as. So, oh well, man, look. I'll see what Power Rangers 2019 has to offer, and hopefully maybe that won't be decent. You know, maybe. Who knows? Anyway, so if you're watching this video, what do you think about Ninja Steel so far? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's enough? Let me know in the comments if you would be so kind. Alright, later guys. Jump out there. One more thing. So, Ninja Steel has this bad habit of throwing morals in almost every episode, you know, like for the young audience, I guess. Stop it. Stop it. Every episode doesn't need a moral, and half the time your morals don't even make sense and they're just bad. Just please stop. Stop. Oh my god. Alright, that's it.